What's up, guys? It's Gaz. It's nice to see you again. And I'm going to do my thoughts on Railjack video really quickly. I'm still working on the Kuva Lich video. That's going to be a really good one. That might be one of the best videos on the channel ever, to be honest, with how much work I've been putting into it. So, yeah, I'm going to get out my thoughts on Railjack video. We're going to go over the pros, some cons. I actually wrote a script for this one, which is good. Like I guess we're trying to make some good changes to the channel in 2020. It's 2020 in about like 8 hours, so get a little head start here. And yeah, so I'm going to take you into some Railjack gameplay. We're going to go over some stuff. We're going to first go over the good stuff. So, also this is a public matchmaking match of Veil Termina, I believe. So let's go over some good stuff about Railjack. Also, I know my voice is not relevant to DE, but this makes me feel better about myself. Okay, some good things about Railjack. So let's go over some good stuff first. It can be really fun while you're figuring out how things work. So like when you don't have everything figured out, you don't know exactly where these objectives spawn, blah blah blah. You don't know exactly how to mod your Amisha, all that stuff. Sure, figuring it out. You could maybe call that fun when you're dying all the time. Some of the ship abilities look really cool. Like I just saw Void Black Hole like a couple days ago for the first time. Pretty awesome there. I love how Secret Volley looks. I like honestly all of them that I've seen so far, and I know there's a couple I probably haven't seen still. So really cool stuff there, good visuals, good sound effects as well on those things. The overtuned enemies don't die in one hit to my rivened up weapons. I know that's like kind of like a joke, good thing about it, because some people hate how it's balanced. I like that the enemies don't die in one hit to my, even to my not the Shedu, the Penance. That thing is ridiculous, and it doesn't one-shot every enemy here. There's pretty much no other place in the game where that happens, so you could call that a pro or a con. I'm going to call it a pro, personally. The Sentient Tile set they added is also insanely awesome. Probably the coolest thing in the entire game, in my opinion. Lots of cool feeling hero moments, so like when you like blow up a base, when you're like infiltrate the missile base, you blow up the base, and then you teleport out with the rank 4 tactical. That stuff's really cool. That's a cool hero moment to me. Even though at this point, I'm just like kind of going through the motions. Like I said, these bases don't change really, and you're still figuring it out. It can be really cool feeling to just blow up the base and teleport back to your ship with your buddies. Also, yeah, the Shedu is really cool. Shedu is one of my favorite guns now, and I mean, it wasn't the most perfect thing to do to farm it, but it was still a pretty good time, especially the first couple days. So that's the end of my good stuff on Railjack. There is more good stuff, but off the top of my head, that was the first things I went over. This is more of going to be a focus on what went wrong with Railjack, especially with not the stuff in-game, the stuff outside the game, in my opinion, because I was really focusing on that. Basically how it was marketed and the public perception of the game right now, which I think is in a pretty bad spot. That would be the main focus of this video. But yeah, there was some cool stuff in Railjack. I'm not going to pretend it was all bad, because it wasn't. But let's go over some bad stuff right here, and this is not an all-inclusive list. We're also going to have some problems that we need to solve, and also how I would fix these problems afterwards. So, bad things about Railjack. Space combat can feel like complete garbage a lot of the time. If you don't have the Amisha slow, a lot of these fighters feel like they're hopped up on G Fuel, doing crazy U-turns and all this stuff, and that's totally the case. Even in this video right here, if I have the slow turned off for Amisha, my Cygnus, I might have a hard time hitting them like 50 meters away, honestly, with the projectile travel time, and like I said, they move around really fast, those fighters. So yeah, that's not even like talking about the damage itself. How if you don't have a Riven for your Cygnus, it might, like if they get the healing bubble on them, you might just not be able to kill that fighter. Fortunately for me, I have a really good Riven for my Cygnus, so I can burst through the healing bug, but that's bad. That's bad that I have that much DPS and that it requires that because there's a bug there. So I do hope they fix the healing bubble thing. So yeah, since corrosive projection doesn't work on these guys, we're basically forced to cheese them with like the particle slash effect, I believe it's called. I'm never going to remember the names of these new damage types because I really hope they just get rid of those. But basically, if you guys didn't know this, slash damage on your Arcwing gun in Railjack missions becomes this status effect that exponentially shreds the armor of the enemy. I think that's what it is. So you want to have good slash, and that's going to make it so you're doing more and more damage. I wish that wasn't the case. Like, I think they should just balance it more, like, fairly, so you're not needing to resort to these clever use of, like, elementals, but still, it feels like cheese mechanics, how much status effects we need to jam on these guys. So, it also is making crit feel like kind of garbage. Like, my Imperator Vandal, with a crit focus build, in my initial videos when we were first doing Railjack stuff, it took like 80 bullets, guys. And then like my Cygnus kills them in like 3-4 bursts, which is like 12 bullets. So yeah, I do hope they fix that. I'm not in the camp where if like it's one shot or nothing. Like I don't need to one shot these guys. I personally don't feel like that's necessary. But yeah, some people do feel like if you can't one shot the enemies of these missions, it sucks. So I'm not gonna go that far. My Cryo Fan can 1 or 2 shot lots of the enemies, but I do have like a 50% plus damage roll on there. So they definitely should change some stuff around in my personal opinion. And then of course the biggest con of them all. This thing is Bug City beyond belief. And the fact that it's so buggy is going to take us into our first problem that was caused by Railjack for DE. And that problem is that, oh man, what were they thinking hiring these big streamers and these big YouTube channels with like 1 million+ subscribers? What were they thinking hiring these guys for the initial launch version of Railjack? I watched like 3 or 4 sponsored streams on Twitch of like some of the big dogs. Like we're talking people who have been on the channel, the platform for like years, millions of followers, like all that stuff. Like even on YouTube, I haven't watched as many of the YouTube videos, but they put these people in there with basically no knowledge of Railjack at all. There's no tutorial, obviously. They got a couple of their buddies there who are like, oh yeah, like, come over here. Like I don't even know like what they were saying pretty much, because I'm sure they were in the dark as well because it was new stuff. But pretty much, guys, the update was so buggy that the people in these chats. Like the entire purpose of hiring these people was to get people interested into the game that were not being paid. But if you're looking at these, they're seeing these bugs where the streamer's getting stuck in the Railjack turret, and he can't get out. When he eventually does get out, he's stuck. Unstuck's not working. He's just looking at a black box. I guarantee that guy couldn't upload a video of that because there was not enough good footage of the game not bugging out. And then everyone in his chat's like, "What the hell is this?" And like. Us as the Warframe community is looking at this like, oh man, we waited 2 years for this, and this is what's happening. People are laughing at us. These people are not going to try out the game because they're like, this is too buggy to play. I even heard some of the sponsored streamers saying, I'm probably not going to come back until they fix some stuff up. So, honestly, that was the biggest disaster of the entire update, in my opinion. Not like with Fortuna, like maybe there were some bugs here or there, but the public reception of the game and like the interest in the game from these sponsored streams was like exponentially higher. We're talking like people actually want to go down. They're like, I'm gonna go download this game right now. With this, it's like, okay, well maybe we should have waited a week or two to get the less buggy version for these guys who are pushing this footage out to like thousands of people who have never heard of our game before. That's at least what I was thinking. I just don't think that they helped themselves in any way with these sponsored streams on the first week update, where people were getting stuck in the turrets. People were getting like the ship was going invisible. Like all this different stuff was happening, and all of it was bad. So, yeah, that definitely was the biggest disaster in my opinion, and I don't think they can really rectify it, guys. Like it's just the damage is done in my opinion. So, let's go over some more problems because that one it's done. They can't fix it. They can't go back in time and make it so the sponsored streams are on a better build. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. Let's get into the other problem we need to solve, which was the terrible balance issues with fighter balance. It can feel like trash. Like I said, you can still one-shot some of the later guys with really good guns and mods. But yeah, if you don't have a souped-up ribboned Arcwing gun along with Amish's Slow, it's like you're not going to kill those 90 fighters in like less than like an hour. It feels like. So, and you'll be getting shot the entire time too with no Amish's Slow. So. I already kind of did go over that point, so like basically they need to fix the problems with the healing bubbles. Maybe just like look at the entire damage system altogether. Think like, is this really worth it right now? Like, what are we doing here even? So that's one of my things. How I would solve these problems, guys. Oh, you know, we didn't even go the intrinsics farming. Yeah, intrinsics farming. You know how I said that you couldn't do finishers in my previous video? Well, guys, that was a bug. Apparently you can do finishers if you launch from your orbiter ship in these Railjack missions. So the fact that I was launching from the dojo was causing a bug where finishers weren't happening. So like I said, there's lots of bugs still. Yeah, but people have been abusing the ever-living crap out of those finishers, and now we got people with 10, 10, 10, and like there's lots of people with 10, 10, 10, even people who have stockpiled points for the command tree they'll be adding in later in the year 2020. So yeah, basically people are done with Railjack XP leveling. I didn't do that because like I'm holding out hope that they fix this and make it to a point where it's not crappy. Like I actually want to grind this stuff. So I'm at 8888 right now, and I don't really see much point for me to go up to 10, 10, 10 unless for mastery. If I get screwed out of mastery rank 29 because of that, then it's my fault, and I should have grinded the finishers. Well, I could have, because they're probably going to nerf that. And honestly, if I were them, I would recommend nerfing that. So, yeah, let's go over some of these solutions I would provide. So, first off, with a bad public reception on Railjack, I think it's just, like I said, you need a time machine for that one, because that was a done goof up. They definitely should have not put us out. They should have not put those streams out on the old version of the Railjack video, the Railjack update. And honestly, like, you can't fix it. That was whoever is at marketing at DE. I think you just messed up, dude. And you probably should have just like realized that your game is extremely buggy at launch a lot of the time, especially with something extremely crazy like this update where we're driving around in spaceships. Okay, so yeah. Let's move on to the actual balance of the game mode itself. So yeah, it seems like what DE wants to do is to just remove Amisha from the game and make it so it's like build your own Arcwing. I don't know if that's really a good idea, because you know what's going to happen? If we can just pick Arcwing abilities, my new Arcwing is going to be Amisha's first ability, Amisha's third ability, Amisha's fourth ability, and Itzel's vacuum ability. So it's not going to really change anything, besides I'm going to have vacuum in space, because I technically don't even have a vacuum in space right now. What is the range on that Arcwing vacuum? Like 20 meters? It's complete garbage. It doesn't even feel like it's there. So, yeah, I don't think that's the right solution. My solution would be to just change the fighters themselves. Make them like 30% slower, and maybe just remove the healing bubble. Like maybe like reduce the effectiveness of the healing effect in the Veil Proxima. Make it like 50% of what it is, so you can actually out DPS this healing mechanic. And it's just like a minor annoyance, not like something that actually feels like it's a bug in the game. So, yeah, definitely need to fix that balance. And I'd say, like, I think modular Arcwing, like, maybe it will help, but it really is going to have some problems there with the meta and the best one to build, in my opinion. And as far as a solution to the intrinsics farming, yeah, you're just going to have to bite the bullet, in my opinion, and just remove stealth affinity multipliers from Railjack missions. It's definitely, like, you know what? Just remove it from the entire game. Like, what is it solving? What problem is it solving besides us grinding XP faster than the DE wants us to? But if they're gonna do that, they definitely need to put a solution in place to make it so people who didn't grind the finishers stealth XP, basically Adaro in space, they need to find a solution that we're actually not getting like completely bit in the ass by not abusing this stuff. Because people knew it. Like, there's probably people that knew about it, but just didn't want to do it because they thought it was abusey. I actually just want to play the space missions, but I want the space missions to actually reward a relatively okay amount of XP when I'm not nuking it down with Rhino like it's absolutely nothing. So my solution would be, you know how there's like the secondary objectives in those like Veil missions, like there's like destroy the missile commander, destroy the pulse generator, things like that. Make those so they give 5 to 10 guaranteed intrinsics to the entire team upon completion. So if you look at it like this, it takes like 1,000 intrinsics to hit to rank 10. That's like 200 missions or whatever of doing the Veil Proxima double objective missions. So I think 200 missions is enough, personally, for one tree. That sounds reasonable to me. And then like there's like a guaranteed easy way. You're feeling like you're making progress in these missions. It makes you want to actually run ones that aren't just guy in point with like 90 fighters and 6 cruise ships or whatever it is. And then like you're working together. You're like, I want to, like, let's go knock out these bases as fast as possible. I'm gonna get my guaranteed like 10, 20 intrinsics from this mission, and then I'm not gonna be like cheesing Ivara finishers in someone's basement. You know what I mean? Like, make it so the actual Railjack gameplay is important here. And like honestly, the bases are so cool and they have no real purpose. So I would definitely change that personally. And then let's see what else we got here. This is pretty good, huh? We have lots of information here. And oh yeah, by the way, if you ban anyone here, I think that's not worth it. I don't think banning somebody over either the Rhino farm or the Ivara farm with the finishers is worth it. It's going to do more harm than good. But hey, it's your game, so the damage is already done pretty much. And you probably need to ban quite a few people, unless you're just banning people who put the videos on this stuff. And then yeah, remove the stealth XP multiplier from the game. and then, you know what, just, yeah, remove it from the entire game. I know some people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but that's kind of how I feel personally. Yeah, and that's basically it for the video, guys. I also want to show you my new Wisp fashion frame, my new Shadow Riven, and I renamed my Doctor Prime to Soul Calibur, because this skin looks like Soul Calibur, kind of. So I'm going to talk to you guys next time. There will be a lich hunting video out very soon. I have lots of footage for that one. I'm going to show you how to get lots of Kuva from the lich, possibly do it as fast as possible. Unfortunately, there's, like, I'm hoping they add the skip the lich button in 2020 like they said they were probably going to. You can't just talk about skipping liches and not actually add that to the game, because the lich system sucks. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully this was helpful to you. I know that DE doesn't really care about me. They only care about people with like 100,000 subs or more. So yeah, it was just, like I said, it was therapeutic for me to say this stuff. And maybe you guys found this information helpful in some way. Maybe you agree with this. If you agree with it, let me know. I'd love to hear your input on how you would fix the intrinsics farm. Also, if you think that the Railjack fighters balance is an issue, I think a lot of people think that's an issue. I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the one-shot or bust camp like some people are, but I think 2 shots is fine. But here's the thing: if you reduce the speed of those fighters, you could use things that weren't just one-shot kill all the time. So yeah, they have the work cut out for them, and I don't envy them in the slightest. So peace out, guys. Talk to you next time.